So Ken Roczen wins Daytona in his 11th try, and honestly, he was riding flawless. And Doc, do you think he can win the championship now?
Okay, first of all, I've been saying this for a while, and everyone's been saying I'm crazy. I think Kenneth Roczen has a very good chance at this chip, like a very good chance. I know a couple weeks ago I said it, and they're like, oh, he's something, 20 points back. Okay, now we're down to 16. All right, it's inching. All right, these other guys, maybe not Coop, but Chase clearly has his issues. All right, so we're making up points every week. I think I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. I think Kenny's on the podium the rest of the season, and I think of the 3 guys that are in the chip, he's the only one that is on the podium every race the rest of the season. It's going to be close. Don't get me wrong, right? We're running out of rounds. It's getting scary. But I can smell it. We're going to Indy, baby. Kenny.
Honestly, Kenny has a really good shot. Let's be real. Like you just mentioned, he's been on the podium now. How many rounds has this been? 8. He's been on the podium 6 times out of the 8 rounds. 6.
Yeah, we're going to say 7 too because of Tampa and ban the lappers. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not, it was the lappers' fault, but
yeah, if he doesn't crash, he has the points lead, guaranteed, 100,000%. I believe that.
And what place did he get in the one that he didn't get on the podium? That wasn't the lapper's fault, wasn't it? 4th?
Yeah, it was 4th. Yeah.
So, see, this guy. I'm telling you.
Now that he's gotten a top 5 every round besides Tampa. That's crazy. That's actually insane.
Kenny's so back. And I've been saying it.
And for those rounds, Eli, I mean, maybe not necessarily, what was it, A2 or no? Yeah, it was Tampa for Eli, right? So maybe not Tampa, but like Jet was there for 4 rounds, or 3 or 4 rounds.
I'm just saying,
Eli was there.
Chase has been there too,
Chase has been there every round.
I'm saying.
Yeah, Ken Roczen has a good shot.
Imagine Tampa didn't happen. And I know it happened, and so obviously that set him back. But imagine Tampa didn't happen. Can he be so solid in the points lead right now? And I think if Tampa didn't happen, he'd be everyone's favorite. I mean, statistically, how could he not be your favorite to win right now? I understand.
I'm personally believe this, that we're going to get some bad races, like from Cooper, from Chase. Like we've already got some from Chase, but I think Cooper really hasn't had like a bad race. We'll get to Chase. In a second, okay?
I'm ready.
No, we'll get to him here in a second, okay? But I do think that Cooper Webb will have one bad race. I'm not saying like a 15th. I'm not saying that, but you could have a 6th. He could have a 7th, and Kenny gets a podium like the statistics are saying, like the stats are saying. That's a lot of points, man. Like if Kenny gets a 1st or 2nd, Webb gets a 6th or 7th, that's 10, 12 points right there. Swing, so.
And here's the thing with Kenny. He held them boys off. That's the thing at Daytona, right? And I would say going into this, I wouldn't have said Daytona is one of his best races of the program. Now, I don't have statistics on that, but just from my old man memory, I would say that Kenny's not the best at Daytona. Obviously, none of them had won. Cooper Webb, I would said, is probably statistically the best one at Daytona, Mr. Second Place. Obviously, I went for Chase to get the win because I thought Chase was just going to come out exactly like he did, just ripping, right? Just absolutely ripping. I thought that was he was flying until, he chased. But I just think we're getting into some more East Coast rounds that Kenny does well at. He's not fading, and he's just proved he can beat them straight up. Him beating Cooper Webb straight up when Cooper Webb was there pressuring him, I think is huge for the mental, right? Like
huge for the confidence. Huge
for Kenny's mental. Cooper Webb has been, dude, when he started creeping up, I was like, dude.
He even passed him straight up. Like he passed him straight up too. Like my boy Zug in the VC, who's like, I can't believe that just happened. That never happens. That never happens with Kenny and Cooper, right? It's always the other way around.
Oh, he looks racy too. He's doing creative things. He's jumped that triple to the outside he was doing. Oh, cinema.
He made a couple passes there too, doing that too. So yeah, Ken Roczen on another level right now. Like seriously, we're so used to the old Ken Roczen of fading. He hasn't faded once, in my opinion. Like you mentioned it last week where, yeah, Cooper Webb passed him. He didn't fade. Cooper Webb was just better, right? Yeah, so none of these rounds I think Kenny has faded in any single one. And that is super impressive in my eyes.
Somebody told me that I'm a bandwagoner and that, no. I've been saying, go back, that Ken Roczen is the GOAT if it wasn't for his arm thing.
He did say that.
If he's through that and we're past that, we're past the fading, Kenny's the GOAT. Not bandwagoning. Big Kenny fan. I do like Tomac though. But.
Yeah, your guy crashed out, so now you're a Kenny fan.
I mean,
bandwagon.
When Chase, I mean, listen. When are you gonna pick a new guy, right? Okay, if we're gonna
when Chase freaking retires, I'll pick a new guy. I'm like the Phoenix Suns over here. I love a team until they freaking suck so bad I can't watch them anymore, man. Like, and Chase isn't there. Chase isn't there yet. He's only 10 points back. Okay, he's not far back.
4 weeks in a row.
I have no words, bro. I said that last week. I have no words. Like I even tried to reverse jinx him. It didn't even work. It made it worse.
Every round, certainly we won't do 3 weeks in a row, right? Certainly we won't do 4 weeks in a row. Like, there's no way we're getting back to back, like hands on head photos from Chase.
Oh, dude, that was so good. The meme out of that was so good.
Like, I feel bad, you know? I mean, he's so fast. I mean, hands down, if he didn't yard sale himself, although
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if he would. Yes, he got the fastest lap in qualifying on the very last lap of practice. Ken Roczen, though, was extremely fast, and Ken actually ran a almost identical lap time as Chase in the heat race. And so, maybe it's a heat race, maybe the main, but identical lap time, a 1:17.9, which is insane. I think Kenny was actually faster on that track than anybody else, in my opinion.
Did he say anything about what happened in the main? Because he was like moving up and then.
So I don't think anything has been stated. I think in his statement, like he just said, like, yeah, the day got to me, like, which is understandable. I mean, he hit his chest pretty damn hard, right? So I also I did see in comments that maybe a flat tire situation because he was fading so bad. So maybe the flat tire, because there was a flat tire in the futures race. So that's a possibility. Yeah,
like I zooming in on it.
Yeah, like I don't think it was necessarily, but I think it was more just him probably being tired from that crash, right? So
yeah, tired and very sore. I mean, he hit really, really hard.
Do we see it 5 weeks in a row?
Dude, I don't know.
We certainly won't see it 5 weeks in a row, right?
That's what I said that last week.
Dude, we certainly won't see it 5 weeks in a row, right?
I mean, 4 weeks
the worst part about it,
diabolical.
The worst part about it is he's getting great starts. Like he's leading and then he crashes. Like it's so bad.
This is worse than typical Chase because the amount of mistakes I feel like is fairly normal, but I feel like he usually like makes a mistake. Next week he'll come back, he'll win, right? He'll just dominate. Then he'll make another mistake. Then the next week, maybe 2 mistakes in a row, but then he comes back and dominates. And I don't know. It's just, have you ever seen somebody choke this much, like in a row?
I don't think I've seen it 4 weeks in a row before. Maybe I have, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Not this bad.
That's like Tomac tucking the front on the Cowie to lose the chip, choking.
You know what's so sad too is go back to Arlington, that Triple Crown. Chase has a real good shot at winning that. No, not just necessarily in the second or third race, right? Like, yes, he should have backed it down and got the win. But even in the second race, he was pushing too hard and crashed with Jay Coop. He should have won that main event. And then, yeah, sure. Well, actually, he should have won the third main event because he stalled it and got passed, right? And then he went down. That right there is the momentum switch that did not need to happen because he lost 5 points on the chip. He would have been up 5 points. And then he goes to Daytona with no red plate and loses another 5 points on Cooper Webb. Like, that is a huge 2-race swing, in my opinion.
I don't know. As much as I'm hard on Chase, I can see this season going 2 ways. Either he's going to continue this and his mental is just absolutely cooked and he's just going to be, a mess. or he locks in and then just wins the rest of the races.
I'm hoping that. I'm hoping for that.
That happening. I don't really want to see that because it's been really cool seeing, like, I mean, how many different, we've had what, 6 different winners in 8 rounds or something. That's insane. And it would be cool to kind of see that trend of multiple winners every week. I mean, this season has been really exciting. I mean, it would have been way more exciting had everyone been in, but it's still been really, really exciting. So I like that. But I could definitely see Chase locking in and just going on a roll, and then the season's no longer fun to watch.
I honestly hope that's the case because I'm a Chase fan, so I want him to win. Just give him a couple, man. Give him a couple honestly, give him a couple solid races. No mistakes, mistakes free. Win second place, it does not matter. Give him back-to-back races where he's just absolutely solid and he does well, and it does not matter if he wins or lose. Get that confidence back, and then he has 5 or 6 races to go to try to win out, right? And I think Chase can win out. Like, not necessarily win out, but he can definitely win 3 or 4 more rounds, in my opinion. He's the fastest guy there, right? So I'm hoping that he goes to Indy, clean slate, comes out, goes perfect, and has a good day. And then we have an off week, and then comes back and starts swinging, right? And then we have some good races. But
I don't know. Cooper Webb is sneaky, per usual, just kind of is going to be there. I think if I was a betting man, which I did make my first bet this week, $5. Big spender. Big.
That's
which,
all
by
I
the
do,
way,
baby. That's all I do, baby.
$5. Just quick little 5. Although, you know, I've been wondering about this betting thing. Never done it ever in my life. I was like, oh, we'll put 5 on it. You know, let's just see. Ken Roczen won that bet. I understand why some people have a problem. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm like, all right, yeah, we're deleting the app because, you know, take that out, delete the app. We'll look at it next week. But I mean, I can understand. I'm like, oh, dude, we're going all in on J Coop for the win next week. You know?
Right? Dude, for real.
Anyway, the link in the description.
Go to it at nextbets.com/playdnx.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Kenny, he's my pick for the year. I do think Cooper Webb will continue to do Cooper Webb things and just be sneaky and like kind of there and not win as many races and then somehow win races that he shouldn't. And then at the end, it's going to be really, really close. That's the one thing I can, I want to say guarantee, but I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I would guarantee that the end of the championship is going to be really close.
I can guarantee you that Cooper Webb's going to be top 3 every round going forward. And he may have, like I mentioned earlier, he might have one fluke race, but he's going to be top 3. Like, I don't know how you won't put him top 3. Like, those 2 guys are going to be top 3 and Chase is going to be top 3. Like, those are the top 3 guys. And if there is a bad race, it's a 6, man. Like, it's a 6. Like, it's not 10th like before with everybody in here with Hunter, Jet, Tomac. Like, it's going to be a 5th or a 6th is going to be the worst race.
Imagine we go to Indy. Kenny in the lead. Cooper Webb, Chase Sexton right behind each other. They crash into each other, blow out both their spokes. They both finish 15th, 16th. Points are just evened out.
That would be gnarly.
Cinematic.
I mean, I wouldn't even mind a Ken Roczen win, a Chase second, and a Cooper Webb like 6. Because then he makes up those 5 points. Roxon's going to make up those 12 points. He's going to make up 3 points on Chase, which now Chase is going to be up on 3. Like, then it's a 3 to 5 point gap. Like, that would be gnarly, in my opinion.
Whose mental fortitude are you picking if it comes down to like 5 races left and there's 5 points separating the top 3? Who do you think mentally has the best shot at winning? I mean, it's not Chase. So Ken or Cooper. I mean, stop even thinking that person.
I wanted to say Chase, but I think it's Cooper Webb. I think it is. I think it's Cooper.
You think Cooper Webb? I mean, Cooper Webb also, I guess, multi-time champion, can get it done. But you think he has a stronger, just like mental fortitude over Ken?
100%. We saw it 2 years. That's how he won his chips, was over Ken. So, yeah. I will say this, though. Going to the end of this season, 2 races on the West Coast, Chase is really good at those tracks. So if it comes down to those 2 tracks, like Denver and Salt Lake, Chase, I think personally has the upper hand on those. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
It's going to come down to the wire. But there's 2 guys that actually surprised me the most out of this weekend. AP and J. Coop.
Dada.
Dude, Those guys were flying. Jay Coop should have had the qualifying time, the fastest time, but Chase got it at the very, very end by 0.1. I mean, that's still pretty freaking good in my opinion. But yeah, those two guys, maybe, possibly, could have been on the podium, both of them. You know,
I mean, AP was.
Well, I'm saying both as like Jay Coop and AP, like second, third, because they were ripping like so good. But yeah, I'm very surprised. AP looks back finally. He looks back. And Jay Coop looks like our breakout guy that we expected him to be the last all year long, right?
AP looks so racy, like wasn't putting up with anything. People were passing him. He was just leaning on him, you know, and was fighting back and looked really good in the ruts. His bike looked really good. That was the one thing I was watching, like see if he was getting bucked anywhere. He looked really safe is what it looked like to me. Like couple little bucks over like where Kitchen wadded, but couple little times there, but just looked safe. And that's going back to Kenny. I know we're not talking about Kenny. I'm going to continue to glaze. Kenny's bike looks so good, like just perfect everywhere. I mean, like that's what happens when you just don't develop a bike for like 15 years. You just work on the same one. That bike's going to be good.
Yeah.
You know, like you put all of your effort into this one thing and never change anything. Eventually it's going to be good. And that bike looks really good everywhere. But yeah, AP was.
Let's stop the glaze here for a second. Let's go to another glaze for AP.
Yeah.
Yes, his
AP
bike looked
great,
amazing. His bike looked actually really, he looked solid. He looked smooth all day long, honestly. So very awesome to see AP. I mean, we expect him to be top 5, right? So it's nice to see him finally get up there in the podium spot. And Jay Coop. Jay Coop looked quick. And I was watching the interview with Jay Coop with, I believe it was Swap Moto, and he was just saying that Anderson gave him a hard time to get around after Chase punted him off the track. And so I think that's kind of funny. But Jay Coop said that Anderson gave him a hard time. So if he was able to get past him quicker, he might have been able to get up to AP's spot a little bit better. But both of them looked really good, in my opinion.
Dale was watching, you know. Dale
third
was
place.
watching.
Yeah, third.
I told my wife, you know, AP got on the podium. I said, you're going to hear you and do it for Dale. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, just wait. And first thing he said, he lifted his shirt up and said, do it for Dale. And then he went, you.
Shout out to AP, baby.
So
he rode amazing, honestly. Both of those guys did. Just one touch topic right here. Anderson hole shot to 9th. Did he crash?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I don't know. I think he just faded. I don't want to talk about it too much, but that was kind of a weird spot. He looked good, and then he just faded. I don't know.
I don't know. I saw someone talking about in the comments that like maybe just old man fitness isn't there. He's a dad, you know, like newer dad. Maybe he's just tired. I don't know. But I was a little sad because I thought, I mean, he looked like he could win.
Yeah. I mean, I predicted him second, and I was like, this is great. And then he went to 9th, and I was like, this is not great. Not great at all. So
for a while there, I thought AP was going to hold everybody off.
Yeah, and then we got Kenny. We don't need to glaze him anymore.
I mean, we can't. I mean, can you imagine the crowd? Daytona and AP wins
next year, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Next year. There's always next year.
Great.
Maybe. Okay, now let's jump over to the 250 class. There's quite a few things that we got to talk about. All right. First things first. Levi Kitchen. I mean, he was ripping all day long. He looked so good in the heat race. He went from dead last to freaking third, man. Like he was flying. I was like, oh, this is Kitchen's win. Like he got into third in the main event. I'm like, oh, he's gonna pass Tommy V. He might catch RJ. He was looking so good. And then just one tiny mistake over the bars on that roller after the finish. And yeah, broken. Don't quote me. I believe it's like upper back is broken, and then collarbone. Obviously a concussion, I would assume, right? I would assume for that. And yeah, it just sucks. I honestly didn't expect that. He was getting close a couple times on it, like endoing it a little bit. We saw AP actually do it a couple times too. But man, that is so rough. Like the crash just looks so gnarly. He like stopped too, like because like when he landed almost in a braking bump. Yeah. So it was just his whole body stopped. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm sure they're like fourth wide open right there too. Like they're not going slow. Like, it's a really fast section.
Yeah, we were mentioning like, is it 30 to 40 miles per hour section? You know, maybe even 40 to 50, because they're wide open. Let's be real. Like, at least Levi was wide open there. crazy part about the whole thing, on the broadcast, you have freaking Mitch Payton in the lower box, literally cheering him on, and then you see his initial reaction at the same time it happens. I'm like, no way that happens, bro. There's no way we see the PC curse happen in real time like that. Like, that's crazy.
Almost made him jump out of his chair.
Dude.
You can cut that out if I don't know. But yeah, that was sad. Because yeah, he looked insane. Even from press day, he's just on the throttle so early in the corners, and like when Kitchen's feeling it, he's got that like goofy scrub style, you know, where he's like feet on the pegs, hanging off the side of the bike, and real
just comfortable,
lanky.
like swag
and he looked
on
like
the bike.
that all day, all press day, practice. He looked insane. So yeah, I hate it.
Did you know that was his first time ever at Daytona? I swear to you that he's raced at Daytona before. I swear that he's raced there before, but I was dead wrong.
Big West Coast guy, man.
I feel like he's raced East Coast on Star though. Did he not? Maybe he missed the round when I don't know. But anyways, let's talk about RJ.
Tell you surprised. I'll tell you surprised. I know we're gonna talk about RJ in a minute, which was not surprising to me. May have been surprising to you. But
it was surprising to me.
Well, what's surprising for me was Mr. British man not doing very good. He had a huge crash, right?
So he had a huge crash in press day.
Oh, press day.
No video footage of it. There was like the end of the video in one of the press day videos, just him sitting on the side of the berm, but we didn't actually see the crash. But I mean, he didn't look like himself in the heat race. In the main event, he honestly was probably going to potentially maybe lead that for a while, besides if RJ can get to him, but then makes a silly mistake, goes down, right, on the very start. And then just to come back from that, maybe the bike was messed up and that's why, but he only was able to get up to 6. I'm like, Max Anstey can get up to 4th place, right? Like, I was expecting him to go up a little bit higher, and then he just didn't. He just basically stalled in that 6th spot, even with the red flag too.
Makes the chip pretty interesting now, though. You know,
Tommy V only 6 points back.
I mean, I had RJ on my podium. I mean, it's an outdoor track. It's RJ, kind of middle of the season. This is when RJ does RJ things. It's like he's already done some of his RJ things by crashing in a weird way and, you know, just classic RJ. But now it's time for him to do classic RJ, just absolutely body everybody for a couple rounds. And like, wouldn't be surprised if he wins East-West next week.
No, not at all.
Just
not at all.
Like RJ gets on that roll, East Coast, Russ, he's real good. He's just going to body everybody, and then he's going to do something ridiculous and, yeah, miss around.
The crazy part about this, like with Max and RJ, like Max getting a 6 puts Tommy V 6 points down. And then RJ winning that, he made up so many points on Max. He's only 14 points back. Like you mentioned, if he goes on a roll, and we have a roll with Tommy V getting on the podium, and Max kind of struggles a couple rounds, RJ's going to be right there. He's going to be like right there.
I was more surprised about Tom than, I mean, I had Tom on my podium too, but I didn't think Tom was going to look that fast. Like, I kind of thought Tom would out endurance, be like consistent himself into 3rd, not be right behind RJ for the win basically the whole time. So that was surprising to me. He looked really fast, like really racy, really, really good.
Well, I think the one thing that helped Tommy V the most was getting that start and pulling the whole shot and kind of leading for a little bit besides when RJ got him. But I think that helped him so much and allowed him to just ride his own race instead of focusing on trying to get past guys. And I think that helped him a lot. But yeah, RJ had a perfect night. I didn't expect that. I did not expect that.
No,
like,
I didn't think,
top quality, wins the heat and wins the main. Like, maybe the main. I mean, I had him on 3rd, but like, I didn't expect a perfect day by RJ at all. So that was very, very impressive. Very impressive by RJ. And like I said, points are pretty close. Now, can Tommy V, when we go back to traditional Supercross, can Tommy V actually win a traditional with this field? Like,
I mean, isn't this what he did last year?
Yeah, he
Where he's
won.
kinda
He
mid,
won
and then-
Daytona, and then he got on. He won like the next round, and then he won Birmingham. But like, from my perspective, a couple of those tracks that he won didn't have like crazy whoops. He had good starts, kind of managed the race. Won Deegan, and when he was battling Deegan didn't good starts. So then Tommy V was able to just kind of manage his own like championship. But I think now you have RJ in the class. Like RJ is a vet. He knows how to win. Like obviously, if I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. Like how does Tommy V do with East West? Like how does Max do with East West? Like how does RJ? You know what I'm saying? Like I saw something that Tommy V said in an interview that said, yeah, the West Coast guys really only has like 2 or 3 guys that are good. So I'm not quite worried about them. I'm just worried about the East Coast guys. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically summed up what he said. And he has a point. There is only like 3 or 4 guys.
Low-key, a couple more weeks off. Joe? I might pick Joe over Tommy V.
Yeah.
I'm picking Cole over Tommy V.
I'm picking
Yeah, that's
Deegan
right.
over Tommy V.
That's right. Comments.
Keep glazing them.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely picking Deegan.
Yep. Especially for Indy, I think personally.
Yeah. And definitely picking Juju.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know about Juju. I would. We'll get into our predictions, I guess. That's gonna be a tough one, I think, for Indy with the East West Showdown.
Hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, hit the sub button because we're gonna be talking about head to heads, and we'll do a little East West showdown between the riders. So stay tuned for that for this week. But yeah,
I don't
East
know.
West.
I might have to think on the Juju one.
Yeah, dude,
They're pretty
I don't
close,
know.
I think. I feel like they're pretty close. Like
They
I don't know.
might. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I think we might do a little teammate battle head to head because that would be kind of sick, kind of fire.
there's a lot of that to do. Yeah.
Exactly. So I just want to touch on this very, very quick, and that is the track in general.
Fire.
Maybe one of my favorite Daytonas I've ever seen. I love the
fire.
long rhythms. I love how they incorporated whoops. Yes, maybe it wasn't the greatest set of whoops, but it was still a whoop section. The sand was not overbearing. Last couple of years,
sick.
remember? Yeah, remember the last couple of years they had like the long section of sand, and it was just like blah,
Yeah.
right? I like the quick section where it's like quick, speedy section of it because the whole track is already rough. So it's like, why
Yep.
make it 10 times
No,
harder?
it was really good.
So
How do we go from Ricky Carmichael doing the same layout 2 years in a row with like one tabletop changed to this?
I don't know. It was maybe the best Daytona we've seen in
It was fire.
5,
well
10
done,
years.
there,
Yeah,
Rickley. Well done.
yeah, it was pretty
Please.
freaking sick.
If you're gonna recycle a track, recycle this one.
Yeah, go the
That was a
other
good
way
one.
or something. It was good.
Yeah.
But overall, solid weekend. I mean,
Yeah.
some people are saying the best race we've ever seen because Kenny won. I don't know about that, but
Yes, sir. You know what else? You know who else did really good, especially in his heat? Just a quick little shout out was Malkorath. Like had a lot of pace in that heat.
his
And Joey.
his starts have been crazy the last couple weeks.
You watch his vlogs?
I haven't
buddy.
in the past, but
Yeah,
I
okay,
do
buddy.
occasionally. But no, I do know that his starts the last 2 weeks have been insane. So big shout out to Shane and Joey. Both starts have been really good. One tiny shout out, Hardy. Hardy was crazy. Dude, he sent it on the wall jump in the heat race. Oh my god. It was
Oh,
crazy.
you know who else did really good? Why can't I think of his name? On 250 in the 450 class.
Cody Shock. Did you
Cody
see his
Schock
front flip?
returned. I did not see the front flip.
Dude, he landed so he hit the rhythm section, hit the tough block, went over the bars, flipped, landed on his feet. It was so
fire.
sick, dude. It was so
I saw him
sick.
whiskey the 250.
I did see
but
that.
no, honestly, 14th, pretty respectable in that field on a 250. Pretty stoked on that. Well done,
Yeah.
Cody.
Yeah, so those are all our like kind of notes that we had for the weekend. We probably missed a bunch, honestly, because we could talk about this nonstop. But with all that being said, we are actually going to be changing up our ratings video tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a little tier list ranking for the riders, so stay tuned. And we're going to have our head-to-head matchups and then our predictions for Indy. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for all the love on all the videos from last week, the recap video, as well as the reactions to MXGP. Seems like you guys kind of enjoyed both of those, so we're going to keep on doing them. Make sure you guys hit the like and sub button for Ken Roczen winning Daytona. And
Fire.
that's all I really got. So sign
won
up
the
at
chip.
Next Bets.
Yep.
Yep, that's all I kind of got. So much love, guys. We're out. Peace.